Well, coming to the part three of the growth of the novel, I'm here again. Speaking about Smalley. Smalley was an exact contemporary of Fielding and Richardson and wielded considerable influence on the young Dickens. He had a zeal for, or rather, I would say, he had a zest for the bustle of life, for adventure and buffoonery and coarse high spirits. He was, however, content to play on the surface of life. His novels are frankly picaresque, full of numerous episodes and adventures by way of swearing and rioting and squalor, of incessant thumping and fighting. He does not possess the largeness of heart that Fielding has. He is also often violent as Fielding never could be. Smalley's first novel, Roderick Random, is the first novel of sea life realistically portrayed. It is written in the first person and has an autobiographic flavor. The Adventures of the Peregrine Pickle is an unequal book, very fine in spots, and his last and best novel, The Expedition of Humphrey Clinker, published in 1771, is written in the epistolary form. All the novels of Smalley are frankly episodic and lack organic unity. There is in each a central personage who gives some sort of unity to the episodes and adventures described. Although he has given us some good characters, his characterization is really superficial. His humor is generally little more than a sense of the burlesque. Lawrence Sterne, at once a county parson and a man of the world, is not a novelist at all, for his aim is not so much to depict the trains or events of contemporary society as to put forth his own views with many quaint turns and whimsical situations under a thin disguise of the story form. He wrote only two books, Tristram Shandy and A Sentimental Journey. The first is a story that is really all digressions, a pure play of wit, fancy, and wisdom beneath the comic mask. There are in it, however, some unsurpassed scenes of humor and delicately finished characteristic or the character drawing and an unforgettable company of whimsical personages like Walter Shandy, Uncle Toby, and his corporal trim, Mrs. Shandy, and Parson Yorick. In A Sentimental Journey, the framework is that of a travel sketch and the treatment is more objective. Much of the Stern's matter is borrowed. He is a great plagiarist, borrowing from Rabelais, Cervantes, and Arbonneau. He is a master of humor and pathos, and in his writings there is a singular blend of these two sentiments. Stern delights in juggling with the sentiments of humor and pathos and in playing with the most delicate art on the feelings of his readers. Stern has a whimsical, digressive style which, in spite of a few silly tricks, is most admirably suited to his purpose. Next, we'll be taking the development of the novel during Victorian period. Just giving you a brief introduction actually. Rest we will be dealing in the next part. The beginning of the Victorian era novels were regarded by the educated as frivolous reading. They were read by the masses of the new middle class for entertainment. Most of the novels were published serially, and in the early novelists had no conception of form. Their novels are generally rambling narratives, episodic in character, full of excitement, tear compelling pathos, and thrilling melodrama. But during the course of the period, this changed. The novel increased in importance till it became the medium of cultured expressions that poetry had been. The earlier novelists, like Dickens, for example, had so much to say earlier that they paid no attention to the plot construction. Their very incoherence was a definite aid to their popularity. As Lord David Cecil has noted, the Victorian novelists wrote about everything, whether they knew about any special thing or not, about every emotion except the great taboo of sex, whether or not it was a sort of emotion they were competent to deal with. At the end of the period, we find that the novelists attaching more and more importance to the symmetry of their plots. This first began with Wilkie Collins. It was developed by Meredith and became dominant in Moore and Henry James. Thank you.